All right. So Hatman is live from the Hatmobile today, and today on the Politics Podcast, we will be discussing a civil war within the Democratic Party. Plus, did the Trump social media summit do anything except for having Seb Gorka be awesome? We'll tell you. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, live from the world-famous Hatmobile.
Welcome to Micah and The Hatman on Politics Live. All right. Let us go ahead and get right into it. So, right out of the gate, Chaos Sonic is throwing money at us.
Haven't you given Micah enough money, Chaos Sonic?
No. Apparently that's his response. Anus only Cortez can't keep her mouth shut again and spew shit again. Yeah, we'll get to that. In fact, we're getting to it right now because of one stupid thing. So, there was a hearing in the House, which is all they seem to do these days, about child separations at the border. And this was probably one of the dumbest things that I had seen happen, because it seemed to be an entire hearing being led by people who just had no idea how rule of law works. Now, I'm going to talk about one thing, and then we'll talk about some other highlights. So, who they had up there was the former ICE director, Tom Homan. And the one thing that made the rounds the most was this exchange between Homan and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as Occasional Cortex. So, it took me a little bit to find the transcript. I finally found it on a website called American Greatness, which is the most on-the-nose website name I think I've seen in a long time. But I'm going to go ahead and read the transcript real quick. Mr. Homan, your name is on in this, correct? Ocasio-Cortez asked. She was holding up a memo. He goes, yes, I signed that memo. Homan answered matter-of-factly. So you're the author of the family separation policy, she continued. Homan answered, I am not the author of this memo. He explained that he'd only signed the memo and corrected AOC's characterization of it as a family separation memo, instead calling it a zero-tolerance memo. When Ocasio-Cortez pressed him about whether he had recommended the family separation policy to former DHS Secretary Nielsen, Homan shot back that he had given numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives. The recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation, Ocasio-Cortez pressed. He says, I recommended zero tolerance, which includes family separation, she insisted. The same as it is with every U.S. citizen parent that gets arrested with a child, Homan shot back. Ocasio-Cortez had to think for a few seconds before she could continue. Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from there, and then he interrupts her and he goes, if I get arrested for a DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to get separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his home. She says, Mr. Homan, with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime. Now notice the language she uses there, asylees. Not illegal immigrants, not undocumented migrants or anything like that. She's using the word asylum. You got it, because that drives the conversation going forward. And then he goes, when you're in the country illegally, you're in in violation of 8 U.S. Code 1325, he shot back quickly. She goes, seeking asylum is legal. Ocasio-Cortez responded, and he goes, if you want to seek asylum, you go to a port of entry. You do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States makes that clear, Homan added, finishing the discussion. And that was the basics of what she had to ask, and kind of where she got beat pretty badly. Because notice that she tried to change the narrative. The discussion was the separation of children from parents if they come in illegally. She defeated her own argument before he even responded. Because she starts talking about migrants, and then she's talking about people who are seeking asylum. Two completely different things. Because the fact of the matter is that when you ask for asylum, the general thing is that you are appealing to that government directly. So if you try to sneak across the border, you're not seeking asylum. Because if you do that, you're not going to get the protection of the government government of the country that you're going to. Now, Hatman, you had seen another highlight on this, correct?
Yes, I don't remember the congressman's name. I think it was Garcia or something.
Yeah.
But he was basically drilling ICE director. Refresh my memory on his name.
Homan,
thank you. Basically grilling Homan on, well, you know that there are people dying in there. You know the conditions are so insanitary, and Homan's like, I'm aware of that, but considering in what conditions some of these people are brought into, there's nothing that you can do. I held a child in my arms, as he died. I knew, this was the last half hour of his life. So do not talk to me about how terrible the conditions are for these people when they are coming and bringing their children who are near death. I mean, the narrative is basically trying to make it insanely personal. There are people getting killed here, and of course that's backing up this concentration camp mythos. But the issue is, these are people that are doing whatever they can to try and get across the border in whatever capacity possible. At some points, they are not bringing their own children, which, means that, of course, those children are going to be separated from whatever family they're crossing with because no familial relation. And some of them are in such poor health that, of course, they die in those facilities. There's nothing that can be done. I mean, several months ago, that kid who died of sepsis, who hadn't had anything to drink for 3 days prior. And of course, that's played as, well, this is an ICE issue. ICE killed that child.
Nonsense.
No, absolute nonsense.
All right, Serena just donated $5. See what she says here. Serena says, are these illegal immigrants even asylum seekers, or are they economic migrants? It's the latter, not the former. Again, if you're seeking asylum, you go to a port of entry because you want the government's protection. It's like when recently Tommy Robinson tried to file for asylum here. He appealed to the government.
Right.
And they didn't answer him.
I mean, there are some people who are either seeking asylum or otherwise trying to enter by whatever legal means, and are just getting caught up as far as paperwork goes because, yes, there is a crisis and a bunch of people have tried to hop the border legally or illegally over the last couple of months. I mean, border crossings were not at this high of a level last year, for example.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is a crisis. But, what is ICE supposed to do in the meantime for people who are trying to, enter legally? Are they just going to say, okay, no, we're kicking you back over the border because we're too swamped right now? What are they supposed to do? And you can't even have mattresses delivered there, apparently, because, whatever companies are selling to ICE are getting boycotted. It's a clusterfuck, but it's not a clusterfuck of Trump's making. It's not a clusterfuck of ICE's making. It's a clusterfuck because of the situation that has happened. I mean, it's just like a bunch of people trying to get on a fucking thing at once, trying to get through TSA security. If you've ever been to an airport like that, trust me, you know how backed up shit can be. And you know how ridiculous that shit gets, too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a whole lot different than that, except maybe, more air conditioning.
Pretty much. But yeah, the goal here is, of course, to erase borders. Like people are saying in the chat. Like, these people do not want borders. Which is ridiculous, because every other country has borders. But, the other thing about this is they're also trying to pin something on Donald Trump here. Again, they're looking desperately for a reason to impeach him. And like Hatman and I called it on the election special, is that they want more than anything to draw up articles of impeachment before the 2020 election, because they know that that would be a big boon for them. So, hey, Vinny's in the chat.
Hey, no, if they draw up articles of impeachment before 2020, it's basically a win-win for them, because suddenly that becomes the main issue on the campaign trail, and even if Trump wins, that's their backup plan: impeach him.
Yep, pretty much. And one thing, just before we move on to the next topic, for those who don't know Vinny Tartamella is one of us in Comicsgate, and he's got a book out called City of Venus on Indiegogo. Go check it out. This dude's art's amazing. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So the second thing, this, of course, and the recent antics that have been going on have led to a divide in the House of Representatives and among Democrats in general. And this, of course, has sparked a fight between Nancy Pelosi and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, how this whole thing started, I don't really quite remember. I'm pretty sure it was basically just a criticism of Cortez from Pelosi. Pelosi being the rank-and-file Democrat Speaker of the House, having been in the party forever and a day. I mean, God, she looks like it. And then Cortez being the freshman. Cortez responded to Pelosi's criticism by insinuating that Pelosi is a racist. Nancy Pelosi is a lot of things. I don't like Nancy Pelosi.
Neither do I.
I don't think I could call her a racist.
No. That seems to be the quickest and easiest way to criticize and deflect. Because we saw it happen with Joe Biden. We're seeing it happen with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, who's next? Chuck Schumer?
Probably. But, of course, the Democrats started lashing out against this, criticizing AOC en masse for making that sort of statement about the Speaker of the House. Because Pelosi's, again, been around forever, got a lot of people loyal to her. And whether you realize it or not, she has a ridiculous amount of power in the House chambers, because she has a lot of influence. AOC does not have that.
No,
AOC,
but she wants that.
Yeah, she wants that. She wants to be Nancy Pelosi.
Absolutely. I mean, this is her power play, basically.
Yeah, she is the single most power-hungry person that I have ever seen inside the House. I think, like, forever. I have never seen somebody who desires power more than her. She has quite the ego, but none of the intellect. And this, of course, comes from the same passion that we saw, and I called this back in 2016, from what Cenk Uygur was saying after the election, is that the progressive wing wants to take over the Democratic Party completely. They want that power.
Yep. This is what I would call the opening shots of the Democratic Party versus the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. And judging by the tweet that the House Democrats sent out, which apparently was not a mistake, that was legit, that was supposed to be there. directed towards Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff, I believe. Basically using woke language to try and out-woke him.
Yeah.
You can see that the Democratic Socialists are going to be the ones to assert the Democratic Party. Because they're already pushing far enough left to the point where that is basically where the battleground is going to be.
Yeah, and not to mention, this is something that needs to be mentioned. After the racist accusation, it came out that the Justice Democrats are trying to primary several members of the Congressional Black Caucus.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after that, after Pelosi basically dismissed AOC's call of her racist, then she tried to say that Pelosi's trying to get her, have her death threats. And then, what I found hilarious today is a member of the Democratic Party was asked for comment about what's going on and about AOC, and he tweeted her. He didn't tweet. He messaged that member of the press corps a picture of a Goomba puppet from Mario Brothers. So we're gonna do something nice. I mean, AOC is a young lady. Many of you know I try to be kind to young ladies. So, Alexandria, I have a song dedicated just for you. Nothing quite like the classic Mario theme. Alright. It's alright, Alexandria. I don't agree with you about anything, but I'll take you out for a spaghetti dinner.
I am more than mildly annoyed that I have to share most of my name with her.
Oh, goodness. Chaos Sonic donates $5, says the only question in which, you typed that fast, says, wants to lynch Jewish people because they both seem to hate Jewish people with how anti-Semitic they are. Looks at Cortez's only support on the Women's March. Yeah, that's another big problem among the Democrats that they're really not really fixing. Sorry, I always love that the sewer theme in Mario. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the next part, because oddly enough, Holy Ninja Toad just asked this in the Discord server. Epstein gets busted. So this has been an interesting one. This was one where the media really wanted to get Trump on, but they weren't really able to succeed with it. So...
No, not really.
For those who don't know, Epstein's a big-time billionaire who has had a long reputation for having a thing for younger women. As in not legal.
Yeah. As in, the plane to his private island was called the Lolita Express. For a reason.
Okay, I didn't know that. What?
I'm dead fucking serious, yeah. That is what it was commonly called. Lolita Express. Yeah, there's a reason why they tried to bust this guy a decade ago, and it didn't fucking work because he bought so many fucking people off. I mean, his butler, I believe, who was privy to some of the information, got a longer jail sentence than he did. That's how fucked up everything has been.
I'm sorry, I'm still tripped up over the plane.
Yeah. I mean, there's fuck you money, and there is fuck you, I can literally do whatever the fuck I want money. Apparently, that is what Epstein had.
Yeah. Now, let's kind of break down a few things. So, the first thing that they tried to do, and we'll get to Clinton here in a second, is they tried to pin him to Trump. And the problem with that was that they made the mistake, or well, not they made the mistake. Somebody, I don't remember which network it has, had James Patterson on. Patterson's known Trump for ages, obviously well-known author. Patterson was apparently at Mar-a-Lago when Epstein was kicked out of it for harassing younger women. We'll put it that way. So Trump, not really a fan of this guy.
No.
So that did not work. The next thing that he went to was, what is his name? Was a member of the Trump administration. Now he's resigning.
Labor Secretary Alex Acosta.
Alex Acosta, yes.
That's another Alex. I gotta share my name. Jesus Christ.
Bad
week for Alexes.
Not to be confused with Jim, Jim. Find yourself a woman who loves Jim Acosta as much as Jim Acosta loves Jim Acosta. So not to be confused with the shitbag from CNN. But the Labor Secretary held a press conference, basically doing everything but fully admitting that he fucked up when it came to Epstein.
Yeah, and he is resigning after a couple of days of pressure from people.
Which he should.
Yeah, it was a smart move. That was the right thing to do. So
after that, the big question is, what do we do, or who else does he have connections to? Well, it looks like a certain Mr. Clinton has been on this fucker's plane a lot.
Yeah. Took the Lolita Express to his private island. 27 times? I think they actually straight up had a number for him. But it was not a small number.
That was a very big number!
That's... Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So now everybody wants to know, what did the Clintons know?
At this point, it's a better question to ask, what didn't they know?
Yeah. I mean, 26 friggin' times.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
There's really no way to wrap your head around that shit.
So I'll freely admit that if I were filthy rich, I would have my own island. And there would be babes all over the island. But they'd be legal!
Exactly.
This guy's a sick fuck.
Yes. Yes, he is. And the fact that he has evaded justice for so long, and the justice, quote-unquote, that he was given was an absolute fucking perversion. Worse of a perversion than, this pervert can be. But at least now he is going to have all of the books thrown at him. Because now the secret is out, and there is no way in hell he's going to get out of this one.
Yeah. Chaos Sonic
no
donated
way.
$5 that says, gets the Chris Hansen, it's his problem now. Yeah. And then Servant of God 777 says, Epstein's black book is full of blackmail on a bunch of people, not just Bill. It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, yes. One thing about that, though. Gawker, yes, that Gawker, wrote an article about who was in the black book 5 or so years ago. That's the one that a lot of people are going on for, who to go after. Bobby Kodak's name was in there.
Yeah.
And take that with a lot of grains of salt because, Gawker. But I think it's safe to say, some people, Kevin Spacey, for example, probably legit. That name is probably legit.
Yeah. Help. I just escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement.
Yeah.
I never got that joke until, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone got that joke until after that news broke.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep in mind, this was not just, sleeping with children. raping children. Let's call it what the fuck it is. It's raping children.
Yeah.
This is a full-on trafficking ring. Like, if there is anything that is going to give, like, Pizzagate people any sort of leg up, this will be it. Because this was a child sex trafficking ring. And here's hoping that this puts an end to a lot of pain and suffering for a lot of fucking people. With that said, I believe there is a button that is appropriate for this motherfucker.
Yeah. So for those of you who are new to the channel, when we want to give the biggest middle finger to someone, we hit this.
We have arrived, and it is now that we fulfill our charge. In fealty to the Lord our God, and by the grace of his throne, I declare exterminatus upon whatever scumbag we're declaring exterminatus on today. I hereby sign the death warrant of an entire wherever, and consign 1,000,000 souls, maybe, to oblivion. May imperial justice account in all balance. The Emperor protects.
Deus vult, Deus vult, Deus vult, Deus vult, Deus vult.
And this one's for Bill.
Fuck him.
Alright.
Fuck you, Slick Willie.
Yeah. Fuck him.
I hope
Alright.
you dry out.
Final thing. And Hatman, you get to take the lead on this one.
Oh boy.
The Social Media Summit. So, nothing happened.
Not really, no. It seemed to be like a lot of cheerleading, essentially. The people who were invited, surprisingly enough, were just like social media personalities. Like Tim Pool got invited.
Which, by the way, you can, if you're watching the show, you'll see Tim on the far left there. Oddly enough, the most left-leaning guy there. And he's actually in his beanie. I found that hilarious.
Why the fuck not?
That is the most Tim Pool thing that I've ever seen. Mercenary X just donated $1 real quick. Says, unfortunately, is not enough for this asshat. I'm not kidding. If what I'm getting out of QAnon is true, it's worse than we think. We're talking things along the lines of Behemothian Grove and idol worship. I don't tend to trust the whole QAnon thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of conspiracies around Bohemian Grove and shit, but I don't know what to say. Anyway, Social Media Summit. Really, not a whole lot of anything. Like, you know, key players were not invited to it. You know, Facebook, Twitter, Google, no representatives there. You didn't even have, you know, folks like Gab going up there.
Well, or Steven Crowder, or
Dennis
Prager.
Nobody who had experienced out-and-out censorship or blacklisting from social media was invited.
Oh, Prager was there. Never mind.
Prager was okay, but fucking, how are you going to have a summit on what to do about social media censorship when you don't have some of the most well-known people who have been censored on social media?
Yeah. Oh, Chaos Sonic wants to remind us to reset the clock. So,
I don't know what to think about this. Honestly, it did feel like a little bit of cheerleading, like rah rah, let's go get the Dems in 2020. You know, let's do what we can, but like no solutions, no grilling the worst offenders for it.
yeah.
Like what was the point?
I don't know. I would have expected something to be said about the possibility of investigation into these companies.
Yeah. Like, that would be the biggest thing. And especially now that you've got a what was it, a circuit court that said Trump can't block people on Twitter because that's a violation of the First Amendment. Like, that is a big step into social media needs to follow the protections of the Constitution because they are now public squares. That's something worth talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I would definitely talk about that at a social media summit, but waste of an opportunity, I would say.
Pretty much. The only parts of it that I found interesting were Seb Gorka. Now, I love me some Seb Gorka. He is a very intelligent man, but he doesn't give a fuck.
No.
He gives zero fucks. So, the actual press were very upset because Trump literally put them behind a rope.
He made them sit in the back of the Rose Garden.
That was hilarious.
Jim Acosta taking a selfie saying, "We've been stuck in the back of the Rose Garden."
Yeah.
Journalist segregation. Oh.
Now I expect Jim Acosta's new book to come out comparing himself to Rosa Parks.
He demanded to sit at the front of the press pool. Eat shit, Jim Acosta, you stupid fucker.
Yeah. But I don't remember the person from CNN, but they started talking a ton of shit, and then Sebastian Gorka just put him in his place. Just like, because he threatened Sebastian Gorka. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? But the thing is that the media feel entitled to covering the president.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that there is no real indication. Like, you have freedom of the press, but that doesn't mean that you have freedom to enter the White House anytime you want to report on things. That's a courtesy that is given by the White House to keep the public informed.
Yeah. Just like you don't have the right to sit at the front of the press pool.
Yeah, exactly. And if you misbehave, you can be kicked out.
Uh-huh.
Is there anybody on this show that we hate more than Jim Acosta?
Bernie Sanders, maybe?
Maybe Bernie Sanders. Maybe Bernie.
Maybe, definitely Ocasio-Cortez. Definitely her.
I think she's more Lulsworthy. Bernie is just like, says some just evil shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Vox Day. Well, okay, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. Yep. I think you got it.
But, needless to say, though, I think that, if I were to have done the summit, what I would have done is to basically try to assure all the people in that room that the government is working for them, to make sure that they have something in the future. And yeah, I don't think he succeeded at all. You know, I think that a lot of people that were in that room were looking for a government solution, and I don't think that they were ready for one. And I think that that's unfortunate. So, but if nothing else, we do know that the DOJ is going to be starting antitrust investigations into these companies, like we reported on that a few weeks ago. And then we also know that Joshua Hawley, the senator from Missouri, has also introduced legislation into the Senate that will prevent the censoring of people in general on social media. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. I'm not really holding out my hope for anything. I'm just personally waiting to see how lawsuits play out. Because I know that Prager has an existing one against YouTube right now. You know? People are still trying to figure out who we hate more.
Oh my god.
And I think they got one that I think we might actually dislike more than anybody else. Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah. Yeah, we really, really do not like Ta-Nehisi Coates.
I think that he wins, honestly.
Probably so, if only because even outside of the podcast, like, I will audibly groan and roll my eyes whenever, A, somebody brings him up, or B, if I ever see anything with his fucking name on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he takes it, because he is both politically ignorant and fucking trash at writing comic books. So,
yep.
Before we go into the Q&A, Mr. Coates, we have a button for you. Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Alright.
I love how he had nothing to do with any topic we were talking about whatsoever.
Just fuck Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Just gotta fuck him.
Fuck that guy. Man, he's trash. Trash writer. Alright. Let's go ahead and get into the Q&A. Oh, my word. Where's this yawn coming from? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. From the Patrons Discord server, Talon Silverbane asks, speaking of illegals and how the camps are overworked, what happened to sanctuary cities? Were they not meant to take in these illegals? Well, in Florida, sanctuary cities are banned. So there's that. And the whole
wasn't there a plan to send people to sanctuary cities?
Yeah, and then the city started refusing them. So, yeah.
At what point? I mean, between this and the whole outright refusal to cooperate with ICE, at what point can we say that these cities are in open rebellion?
I don't know, but one thing that is going to be interesting, I believe it's this week, is when the mass deportations happen.
Oh, yeah. I think that's tomorrow.
Yeah. And some senators and representatives have openly lied to immigrants, saying that they don't have to answer the door. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You are on United States soil. You have to answer the door.
Yep.
And the big problem is that that could be considered aiding and abetting a known felon. Chaos Sonic donated $5. And he says, and we already answered, here's sanctuary cities in Florida banned. Woo! Yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, Holy Ninja Toe, I already talked about the Epstein investigations. Let's see what we got here. From chat questions, Ghost asks, do you think that the media is focusing on R. Kelly now to cover up the fact that Epstein has ties to Clinton since Trump was on Epstein's plane once? Yeah, I do think that that's a big part of it.
It is very, very possible.
Kale Bach wants to know, what are our thoughts on the argument that the wall wouldn't work because people would bring ladders or picks and shovels? Don't they realize how that looks? I Aside from how it might look, that wouldn't work. How you get a ladder over a 50-foot wall? Really? Where are you going to get the 50-foot ladder? I swear Adam ruins everything as shit.
They're gonna build a fucking, not even build, they're just gonna make like a human wall like that one in fucking World War Z.
Nah.
Just climb over each other. Oh man.
Alright, let's see what else we got here.
Stupid.
Autis Whisper wants to know thoughts on Tommy Robinson being put in prison for 9 months. Apparently the prison is known for having jihadi gangs.
Yeah, it's the same one that he was in for, was it like 3 months or something?
Yeah.
And they put him in solitary because, yeah, he would have been fucking killed.
I would imagine the same thing will happen here.
Almost certainly. I have a bad feeling that he is not much longer for this world.
I hope that's not the case.
I do too, but I just, something tells me that something's going to fucking happen to him. Be it he is going to go stir crazy in solitary like he said he was going, or he's going to get shanked by somebody.
And then Cooper's Revenge Home asks a follow-up, thoughts on Tommy Robinson's appeal for asylum? Do you think it'd be granted, or would it open the door for every European right of marks? I don't think it's going to be granted.
No, I don't think so either. I wish it would be, but I don't think it will.
Magical Robot Prisma asks, with the Epstein thing unfolded, do you think there's any validity to Pizzagate? Do I think that there have been pedophiles that have been protected politically from people? Absolutely. Do I think that Pizzagate itself was a thing? Nah.
I think there's some validity to it. Maybe not to the extent of like how deep the conspiracy went, but yeah, I think given this and what evidence we do have of other folks, I think that's enough correlation to say that yeah, on the whole, something fucky was going on.
Yeah, there's definitely some shady shit going on in the Democratic Party, and with some very high-profile Democrats, and that's very worrying. But yeah, Pizzagate itself, though, not really.
Not quite.
And Pizzagate's always going to be a sensitive topic for me. If you guys remember when we covered the guy who went into that pizza place with a rifle,
yeah, we
laid into him.
Yeah, although I can't help but notice now that Comet Ping Pong Pizza, or Comet Ping Pong, or whatever the fuck it was called, CP is literally in the name of it. So, I will never, ever be able to unsee that.
Anyway, let's see here. Hardboiled asks, with people fed up in California from the homeless epidemic, when did the CAGOP actually take advantage to the point all the disasters came from Democrat policies? I don't know. That's one thing I've always found interesting, is that the California Republicans aren't pushing harder than they are.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it almost feels like all the Republicans in California are in the northern part of the state now.
Certainly seems that way, yeah. I kind of wonder if they've just given up. I just, they think that, oh, well, I mean, we're just going to lose the Democrats anyway. They run everything, so what the hell is the point?
Yeah.
I kind of hope that's not the case, because that sort of defeatist attitude is what enables them to get away with all this shit in the first place.
Ooh, damn. Serena just donated $15, and she says, would you guys mind reviewing an immigration comic called LaGuardia? It's so heavy-handed that borders on comment. Oh, that... Boo on the fucking pun. I will add it to the list.
LaGuardia? Oh, God. I don't want to go to that airport.
Ay, caramba. Hatman, that's all you. No, I'm kidding. But anyway. What else we got here? Oh, somebody asked about Ben Shapiro's new nickname. Did you hear this one?
Nope.
The circumcised cyclone.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, speaking of Ben, though, Ben had another debate this week that was interesting. So, we didn't talk about this, and I think that this probably would have been a topic we should have thrown in, was the Women's World Cup. And there was... Yeah, there was this whole thing about the ladies getting equal pay. Well, nobody watches the Women's World Cup. They're elite soccer players for women. They're the best female soccer players in the world. But nobody cares. And it's nothing personal. I just don't watch soccer. I don't care. Or football. Or whatever you want to call it.
I don't either. I barely watch sports at all. So
the only time Megan Rapinoe comes up in conversation is whenever they're trying to force soccer down our throats. Americans don't like soccer.
No, that's why we renamed it. It's football everywhere else. We fucking renamed it. That's how much we hate it.
Yeah. And here's another thing. Our men's soccer team sucks. They make more money.
Yeah.
Because more people watch men's sports.
Yeah.
Outside of MMA, oftentimes male athletes are more popular.
Yes.
And even then with MMA, I can't think of who are all the female champions right now. It's the chick who just beat Rose Namajunas, who I forget her name. There's Valentina Shevchenko, who has the capability of being a star. Because not only is she a very beautiful woman, she also is a incredible striker. And then you have the other chick, whose name I also am forgetting, who is the 135 and 145 pound champion. Her name is just escaping me. Her nickname's the Lioness. But when it comes right down to it, there's not really a consistency there. But beyond that, the women's soccer team in the United States lost to a bunch of 14-year-old boys.
A scrimmage, but still a loss.
Yeah. It's a pretty hard L from what I heard. Chaos Sonic donates another $5. Wants to know about if we're going to talk about G2A. We didn't have it on the agenda, but we'll answer the question a little bit more in full around that time. Just remind us. But yeah, it's like, how do you expect us to really hold you in that high of regard if you can't really... You can't even beat 14-year-old boys! What the fuck? But then again, this just goes into it, is part of the reason that people find men's sports outside of fighting more exciting is because of the athleticism. Men are just naturally more athletic than women are.
Yep.
You know, obviously we're built bigger, stronger, what have you. But even if you compare, like, Amanda Nunes, that's the name of the 135 and 145 pound champion in the women's division. If Amanda Nunes were to fight Henry Cejudo. Now, Henry Cejudo is the dual champion at 125 and 135, so he technically fights lighter than she does. He would fucking maul her because he's actually bigger muscular-wise and considerably stronger. Because men are different. We are built a different way than women are.
How about that shit?
Yeah, that's not saying anything negative about women. It's just saying that there are differences.
Mm-hmm. People watch sports because they are competitive.
Yes.
Men are more competitive and more athletic, so it's going to be generally more exciting, more of a visual treat to watch. Not like that, perverts. because I know y'all watch women's volleyball in the Olympics for a certain visual treat.
Damn right. I'm an ass man. You know I watch that shit.
Women's volleyball, women's gymnastics.
Well, not gymnastics, because half those girls are underage. But
yeah, but that's still like of the women's sports, just in the Olympics. Like those are the ones that get a fuck ton of attention.
Pretty
There's
much.
one more, I think.
Synchronized swimming. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there, dude. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe Australian long bowling or something.
Yeah, some swimmers, I think, do.
Yeah. I didn't think swimmers just because, like, you got folks like Michael Phelps that are,
Well, yeah,
household
so
names,
even in that one, the men are overshining the women.
Yeah.
Not to mention, to be an elite swimmer, you have to be a physical specimen.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Phelps has abs for days. You could literally grate cheese on them. It's crazy.
Yeah. He might not have won the genetic lottery in the face, but everywhere else, I think it's safe to say, yeah, he got it.
Oh, yeah. I envy that man, for sure. But anyway, more questions.
Yes.
Crystal Wing asks, thoughts of people planning to storm Area 51 in search of aliens. I hope they succeed.
I wish Art Bell were still alive to hear that shit. Oh my god.
Y'all motherfuckers are gonna get tear gassed.
No, you ain't gonna get tear gassed. Y'all gonna get killed. Like, do you understand, like, how many guards are out there and the kind of weaponry that they fucking have? And do you understand, like, they're going to be probably more of them out there just because now it's public, and there are probably going to be dumb motherfuckers who actually try to get onto the fucking base? No, it ain't gonna fucking happen. I mean, they already, like, jam your cell phone signal if you get too close to Groom Lake. So, no. No.
Ay, caramba. Alright, another one here. Patrick Starr asks, thoughts on channels dedicated to arguing against Islam? Examples include Acts 17 Apologetics, The Masked Arab, and Apostate Prophet. I've heard a lot of really good things about Acts 17, that channel. Aiden has, oddly enough, yeah, it was Aiden who told me about it. I've only watched one of their videos. But, it's an interesting topic to take on. You know, it was a big subject. That was the weird thing when I was in college. You know, as you all know, I studied theology. During college, for me, I tended to. Excuse me, my stomach's really upset today. I tended to be the guy who was the odd man out in regards to the philosophies that people were debating. Everybody wanted to debate Islam and people who were Islamists. And I understood that because we were in the middle of the Iraq War, you know. But on the flip side, I saw progressivism, I saw postmodernism as more of a threat. Mm-hmm. Guess who was right? Hashtag Micah was right. That's going to be a shirt sometime, too. What else we got? Brian Gilmartin asks, can we safely conclude that socialism lends itself easily to racism because it's predicated on hating the wealthy, especially when those wealthy can belong to a few specific races? I don't really think that it's necessarily a, built into it, but one thing, and Aiden and I have talked about this a few times, is there's an inevitability whenever you other someone to make them the enemy, psychologically speaking. And as such, it can manifest itself into a specific people group. Hopefully that answers the question. Hatman died, so we're going to wait for Hatman to come back. He hit a dead zone. Let's see, what else we got here? It says Ben Shapiro destroys people with facts and logic. Does that mean Ben Shapiro is Thanos? That's from Matchstick. I wouldn't go that far. What I found funny for the last couple minutes, mods in the chat, go ahead and start getting questions from anybody I didn't answer already. What I found funny is that Shapiro, of all people, did not understand the character of Thanos in Infinity War and in Endgame. He didn't get it. And I was like, what? How can you not understand that he's a nihilist? How did you miss that? I swear to God, if I ever become more famous than I am now, which, nowhere to go but up, if I ever get on the Ben Shapiro Sunday special, that is the first question I'm going to ask him is, how do you not understand Thanos? And I'm going to just give him a pile of books that are all Thanos books. Are you alive?
I think I'm alive. My phone overheated, apparently. I almost died, I think.
Your phone overheated.
Yeah.
Everyone shame the Hatman's phone! Everyone shame the Hatman!
Shame! 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 Shame!
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Alright. Well, you came back just in time to end the podcast.
Well, there we go.
Alright, folks. Stick around. We will be coming back with the entertainment podcast. We will be talking about... Well, Hatman's going to be talking about time travel. I'm going to be talking about this thing. The Nintendo Switch. I'm going to be giving my opinions on it, plus on Smash Ultimate. So, I will say one thing. This is a nifty gizmo. But you'll get more of my thoughts here in a bit. We're going to take about 15 minutes to go. I'm going to go get changed out of my outfit. Hatman's, of course, going to continue to drive. So don't go anywhere. Just let me emphasize this. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back here in about 15 minutes. So everybody get up, take a bathroom break. We will resume for the entertainment podcast as well. So in the meantime, my name is Micah Curtis, the Prince of Pugilistic Polemic, your favorite vanilla gorilla.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, the one, the only overheated Hatman.
And we will see you guys very soon. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.